keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Logging now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing today? Sound off in the chat. Give me one moment here while I put together today's starting poll. It's going to be very similar to yesterday. Actually, no. I'm going to do a different one. What are you doing right now? Buying the dip? Loading up on gold and silver, holding cash, or panic selling everything. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. And let's get right into it. Hey, what's going on, guys? Oh, yeah. Bitcoin currently trading at $66,308.91 after a brutal 2% dump. We are now turning green on this current 4-hour candle, which is cool, after frequently, or I guess recently, rejecting our moving average on the RSI today. We're going for a third attempt there. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. Oil's going crazy. Tensions are rising. There's a ton of FUD on X. It is out of control. We got 66,579. 66,579. They definitely have maximized. Like, if this is all like coordinated, they have maximized their like guerrilla marketing of the of the fear campaign. 68,610. It'd be cool if we could have liquidation maps. I guess that wouldn't really make sense. Is that even an idea? 68,579. Did that run already, didn't I? Yeah, okay, we're going down. All right, 65,537. And the bottom of the bottom. I'm going to go right here, 64,131. Bitcoin officially below 67,000, which was some interim support right here, it seemed. Lost that pretty violently. Question is, are we going to reclaim it soon, or is this just the start of the next red wick on the 4-hour candle for our eventual continued downside? That's the big question everyone's asking right now. What's going on, Fahid? What's going on, Jake Gordon? Appreciate you guys for being here. Phone is going crazy. Why? Are we being bombed? No, it's junk. Okay, cool. Okay, Bitcoin 66,297 and 34 cents. Dominance, we've got up 0.07 after spiking below 59. This is perhaps mildly exciting. We rejected 59.8, broke below 59.5, tried to hold 59 and just Bounce, broke below it. Are we going for 58.5 next? It's the next big question. I mean, it's taken longer to dump than it took to pump, so it is still showing some strength, at least time frame wise. ETH is up 0.55% since the daily close, currently trading at $1,948.11. Are we going to get back above 2K, or are we going to continue to trade sideways below? I will say, given the current geopolitical state of the world and the fact that gold, silver, and the stock market just gapped down significantly, Bitcoin kind of doesn't seem bothered at all, which is weird. Did it front run the entire bear market? Or, you know, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, guys, don't forget about the poll in the chat. What are you doing right now? Buying the dip, loading up on gold and silver, holding cash, or panic selling everything? Let me know. Let's continue down the charts. We got Solana, $82.19, also up 0.72% since the daily close. Currently below 82.47, which is a previous point of confluence, also what I would call the skewer of our current range, kind of holding everything together. Are we going to continue falling below this towards 75, or are we going to get back above it? Bottom line, we're above 80, nice psychological level. If we can stay above 80, great. If not, looking for 75. We do look like we're consolidating heavily below the moving average in the RSI, right around, actually right below 40 as well on the RSI. Green dot in the momentum wave, point to the upside, negative money flow. Let's see if this turns to the upside. Wonderfly said, wonder if we get bloodbath this week? Probably. Oak, Professor Oak said, bought the dip. I love you, Professor Oak. Okay, total 3, up 0.31%. Currently sitting at 698.18 billion. I suppose if we are going to continue down, let's just get this trend out of the way. Right there. Yeah, are we coming down to like 680? Probably. Crypto Spaces said, no wondering necessary, Waterfly. It's always a bloodbath. Well, I mean, we've been pretty sideways, honestly. If this is a bloodbath, then your standards are pretty skewed, I will say. I get it, though. It's been pretty bleak, especially in the altcoin market. This is a bloodbath. This is just like, I guess you're in the bath now enjoying it. Like, it's blood, so it's kind of gross, but it's still a bath. So if you could get over the psychological barrier, then you'll just end up coming out crazy, which is very appropriate. Metaphor. That was a beautiful metaphor. Okay. ADA up 0.72%, currently sitting at 25.11. If this thing loses 25, it's going to get pretty spicy, in my opinion. I don't know if 24 is going to hold at all. It should just go down. I just want this thing to go to 20 cents at this point. I don't really have any feelings for it above 20 cents. It's kind of a piece of crap, actually. We lost 26, and yeah, I got some choice words for the leadership, but I'm not gonna open my mouth yet. Snack is down 0.57. This thing is also selling off tremendously. Unfortunately, my fractal, my derpy ass fractal, is coming true. So prepare for buy levels around 3, which is, what is that? That's a pretty significant drop from up here. 50% drop from current levels, maybe 40. Crypto Spaces said, oh, why am I still here? I must have Stockholm Syndrome. Waterfly said, waiting in your own filth. Enjoy that bath. I miss bath, man. Hope he's doing good. All right. Midnight down 0.45%. This thing is also dropping tremendously. Are we going to break below 54? We've been in this range of 54 to 64 for quite some time now. If it loses that support, then it's going to get pretty spicy. We've done it before, and when we did, we hit it hard, and then we broke through it and just dumped pretty harshly all the way down to 4. Actually went even lower. Eventually bounced off of 4.2, it looks like. Got back above 4, rejected 54 support at 46, and then it broke above, and now we're in our forever range of 54 to 64. So 54 should be strong support. If not, then it's going to get spicy. We are oversold, though, so not financial advice. It's just on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see what the daily looks like really quick. Yeah, daily could care less. It's like right in the middle, so it technically has plenty of room for the downside. XRP is up 0.63% on the day, currently trading at 134.85. Is XRP going to find its way to $1 soon? Maybe, maybe not. So far, 134, 130-ish is that nice support range between 130 and 150. Is it going to hold, or are we going to lose it? I guess, yeah, 134 really is that level, isn't it? 134, 135. Because 130 is even below that. I don't know, man. We'll keep an eye on it. It is also consolidating by that moving average in the RSI, just like Solana. 134 seems insignificant and almost arbitrary, but apparently it's pretty good support for XRP. H-bar, doing a whole lot of nothing. Same thing, trapped in the bottom level of the range. SWI, trapped in the bottom level of the range. Ondo, bottom level of the range. Arrow, bottom level of the range. Kind of skewering this lower half right here. Polkadot. Polkadot's outperforming everything right now. Technically, I guess you could maybe argue that this was supposed to be the range and it just got too bearish right here, so, you know, semantics. But we're sitting at 146, up from the low of 125, which is still a pretty significant spike. If you bought down here, then you are still in profit, 18%, which is pretty good. That's pretty dang good. Avalanche, bottom of the range. Chainlink, bottom of the range. Doge, bottom of the range. What a surprise. Gold, 5,050. Actual gold, 5,037. This thing is dumping, which is weird, because these are supposed to be safe haven assets. What do you do? What do you do when there's no safe haven? Answer me that. What do you do when there's no safe haven? You can't buy stocks, they're dumping. You can't buy crypto, it's dumping. You can't buy Bitcoin, it's dumping because it's different from crypto because they got to be special. You can't buy gold, it's dumping. You can't buy silver, it's dumping. Everything is dumping. What do? You hold cash. Because, ladies and gentlemen, cash erupted today. This is a 0.73% candle, which is a huge move for the DXY. This thing's heading towards 100. It's above 98.75. We talked about this level. This level acted as support. Beautiful support. Held. And you got your little M attempt right here. Even a wider M with the little mini M right there. As soon as you hit, you're skyrocketing to the upside. Why? I have no idea. But 99.57 right now. We got it above 99.5. 100 is the next stop, man. If this thing breaks above 100, it's gonna get interesting for sure. And again, we had this bear pennant, and we've talked about it with crypto. We've talked about it with stocks. When you have a bearish pattern that breaks in the opposite direction, the move is violent, and that is exactly what played out here. This was bearish, but the bulls were way too strong. This thing exploded to the upside. The bulls being, I don't know, the strength of the US dollar, whatever you want to call it, 99.58. This thing's heading to 100 for sure. You will not change my mind. You do have bearish div, though. You have to get a reaction, obviously, but there is bearish div on the chart present. I don't know if that really applies in the long term, or if that really applies to the DXY at all. Let's see. Crypto Spaces said, I guess Jordan and Ben were right. I can't be bullish with gas and oil rising like this. So I'll take Ben being right. Ben Cowan being right, sure. But Jordan said that we were going to spike before we dumped, and he was wrong. Ben Cowan's just copying this guy. You know, I would have been right, too, if I would have pivoted right away. You follow the trend, you know? I think it's silly to dismiss people's previous insistence. Jordan said Chainlink was going to go to crazy valuations as well. Look what happened with that. 99.55. For the DXY. Waterfly said, smash the like button, guys. Appreciate you guys for being here. Vahid said, I don't even know if we can hold cash. The gas price taking me out, LOL. Crypto Spaces said another black swan. I thought they are black swans because they don't happen often. That's my favorite part of, like, the news segment. Everything that we read in the news segment is like, we are witnessing a once-in-a-lifetime price movement on silver. And then next week, they're like, another once-in-a-lifetime price movement on silver. And then, like, a day later, they're like, more once-in-a-lifetime price movements on silver. We've never seen this in our lifetime. This may be the only time in your life that you witness this. And every time I read them, I'm like, how many once-in-a-lifetime things are we going to witness? There's several lifetimes we're witnessing right now. Waterfly said, buy ammo. For real. It's getting out of control, man. It's unfolding pretty quick, too. It's if you go on X, it is just pure fear-mongering. That's all it is, dude. It's either fear-mongering or for whatever reason, X is like pushing these like TikTok moms now that are like, check out this cute light up acrylic board that I got. You can write like, have fun at your workday, sweetie, with a little heart, and then you press the button and it lights up. Link in the description. That's all my X feed right now. It's driving me crazy. I'm like, what is this? It wasn't like this yesterday. Stop. Just stop. It was fine. It was effed up, and then it was fine, and now it's effed up again. They're out of control, man. They're like, World War III? What if we added affiliate links? It's crazy. It's crazy. Guys, don't forget to check out the poll in the chat. We got 9 votes going right now. Also, smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. DXY going out of control. Gold, big dump. Gold down 2.62% for gold. This is a huge red candle. And again, this is like the 5th once-in-a-lifetime move we've seen on gold in the past week. So let's see what happens. Lunar Entity said MNQ1 Yowza. Nasdaq futures finally cracked. I don't know what that means. Silver also breaking down out of our symmetrical triangle. With crypto, I would be bullish about this. I would say, first move, false move. With silver, it seems bearish. Because silver doesn't, I see, again, then we fall into this weird catch-22 where I would normally say silver doesn't trade anything like crypto. But this is very crypto right here. This gigantic dump is crypto. And then the recovery dumping would also be very crypto. Pretty cool. When you can start to recognize the liquidity extraction, you feel pretty good about it. ISM PMI coming in next month. We got this month our little copium, which failed miserably. DXY pumping. Oops. What have I done? Dow Jones. The Dow is no longer 50,000. Guys, it is a sad day for criminals. $47,487.32. Let's see if this bad boy continues to dump a Rooney. Lunar Entity said MNQ1 is the ticker for the Nasdaq's mini futures. Oh, do I have to do the exclamation point? That's kind of funny. All right. 24,236 and 75 cents. Another big fat dumperoonie. What do we got here? So we've got a wick or a gap. There's a gap. The gap is 0.68, negative 0.6-ish. And then the full move is 1.73 negative. That's pretty spicy. That is pretty spicy. S&P. Did we go over Nasdaq already? Yeah. 24,155. S&P 6740. What is how do we look at S&P futures? Is that a thing? Nvidia, Tesla, we gotta wait. MicroStrategy, we gotta wait. Yeah. The only 24-hour market, I guess, is crypto. Everything else sucks. Gold continuing to the downside. 5,044. Well, yeah, it's trying to hold. I don't know, man. It's weird to see the safe haven assets dump. It is. I know we're not that, there's not much to go over in the charts. Everything's flat or dumping, you know. I'm going to go straight into the news segment. Let me know if you guys got any questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer. It's been a while since we've had this many viewers. We got a copium post from Raoul Paul 23 hours ago. I'm going to read the whole thing. Are you ready? I can see how despondent everyone is about crypto, and the pure chartists are telling you it's all over, but I don't agree. Global liquidity is the most dominant macro factor in history, with a 90% correlation to Bitcoin and 97% to NDX since 2012. It is growing at around 10% a year, and it's not slowing. GMI financial conditions lead it by 6 months. They are still easing. The air pocket was U.S. total liquidity, which was curtailed by the shutdown. It leads crypto by 3 months and is accelerating from its low 3 months ago. The business cycle is the key driver of earnings and thus risk. It is accelerating. The ESLR is the mechanism by which banks can increase liquidity via credit and absorbing treasury issuance. This liquidity is rising too and will accelerate. Tax refunds land on bank balance sheets and add propensity of credit creation and thus liquidity. China is accelerating, expanding its balance sheet. More rate cuts are coming in the U.S. and will add to disposable income and thus risk-taking. Clarity Act will likely get agreed and adds to flows. The wall of banks and asset managers wanting to use this technology is enormous, and this bill sorts that out. Stablecoins are accelerating, and issuance grew 50% last year and is accelerating. Volumes are in the trillions of dollars and are accelerating. We have the most supportive government for crypto ever in the US. Finally, the agents are coming and will hyper-accelerate. They are an entirely new TAM. I don't know what TAM is. The crypto market is still in fear and by most measures the most oversold in history. Weekly DeMark indicators would give a very solid base in 2 weeks. You can now get them officially on TradingView. Daily DeMarks are stack up too. Any weakness from here will complete the dailies and the weeklies, indicating full trend reversal potential. The risk factor is how long oil prices stay up. The next 2 weeks are the key focus. I think this all resolves positively higher. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Raw Paul, we will see what happens. Next, we got this Asian man basically lining up what's going to happen. If you want to go check him out, he's on he's on YouTube. Professor Jiang. I forget what his YouTube channel name is, but he's kind of like the peak FUD guy for the Middle East. He's basically saying that the Middle East is screwed because of the water, and Iran is going to attack water infrastructure, and it's going to get spicy, and we're going to lose. And then he gets into like some crazy like anti-certain people thing. It's I don't know. It's definitely out there. If you're if you're interested in bathing in the blood of FUD, then definitely worth checking out. Lunar Entity said, metals are so cross-collateralized I can't even call them a safe haven. Physical, sure, but paper is absolutely a risk asset now. Just imagine how much the GDX guys are sitting on over the last couple of years. I'd be getting out of paper too. 88 Metals Mania said, yo, what's going on, 88 Metals Mania? Bitcoin continuing to drop, $65,912.85. We see we got some indecisive green that's slowly trickling away in the altcoin market. And DXY continues pumping, 99.59. Yeah, dude, the dollar's exploding right now. Gold and silver dumping. DXY pumping. Stocks gapping down. Bitcoin also dumping. This might be, now I don't want to fearmonger, so do not make any decisions based on what I'm about to say, because it is strictly based on what is happening in the charts right now and like the peak fear on X. Regardless of whether or not it's fabricated, this might be a Black Monday scenario. If it is, I'm probably going to buy more because I thoroughly enjoy losing money. But we'll see. We'll see, man. We will see what happens. Continuing the news segment, this pretty sick 1966 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham motorhome. I hope that this is real. If not, I don't care. I want it. I'm going to have it made when I'm filthy rich and retired. And after I've given away, because I'm going to have hundreds of millions of dollars and our concurrent viewership is around 10, I can give each one of you guys at least $1 million. We're all going to have our own. And we're going to go on like motorhome road trips, and it's going to be so sick. There's not going to be like meetups. There's going to be like, it's going to be like the bikers when they go on like biker trips across the country, but we're just going to have like a motorcade of motorhomes. That would be so sick. All right. I just wanted to show that. I thought it looked sweet. It does look like AI, but it looks badass. It might not be. It's probably definitely AI. This one especially, but it's freaking cool regardless. CryptoSpaces said, well, here comes a crash to 45 to 50K. I still got my heart set on that 51.5, guys. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. The 51.5 level, where is it? Is this the right one? Where the hell is the damn chart? I think I got to go to the daily or something. Yeah, it's this one. Okay. So we talked about this briefly, and I don't remember what set. I just clicked the wrong thing again. I don't remember what set off the conversation. Somebody else had a chart similar. The 2018-2019 bull bear was 84% drawdown, and then 2021-2022 was 71% drawdown. That average is 13, so minus 13. 71 minus 13 is 58. 58% drawdown puts us at $51,500 Bitcoin from the peak, approximately. Right. Yeah, it's 51.5 might even be too low. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows, man? But the fractal kind of calls for it. And I actually quite like this fractal. I don't remember putting that fractal there, but I thoroughly enjoy it. we'll see what happens. Bottom line, hold on to your butts and be prepared for war. And also, if you're asking yourself, or if I'm asking myself, it has nothing to do with you guys because I'm not a financial advisor. If I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, oh no, should I sell my bags and have cash just in case there's World War III? What the hell am I going to do with cash? Oh no, should I sell all of my stuff and convert it all to silver and gold in case there's World War III? What the hell am I going to do with silver and gold? Ask yourself, if you have an apocalyptic event and somebody approaches you, you got all the food and water you need for your like friends and family or whatever, and somebody approaches you, they're like, I got a bunch of gold and I got a bunch of shiny rocks. Can I buy some of your food? No. What the hell am I going to do with your shiny rocks, bro? Get out of here. Bring me back some food, and maybe I'll trade you some of my food for your food. Or maybe like weapons or something. But I don't want your shiny rocks. I can't do anything with your shiny rocks. Go on. Skedaddle. I'm just saying. That's just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. It is what it is. Waterfly said sweet. 88 Metals Mania said decent. HQZ said we see 250K by end of year. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Lunar Entity said depends. Governments stops capping yields and we'll see 25K. That'd be crazy. Tisha said JJ buy at 100K. Buy at 90K. Buy at 80K. Buy at 70K. Buy at 60K. Me, I sold some 80K, 100K, and 120K. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it, man. That is the way to do it. Then we got this. For some reason, this came up on my feed, and I panicked. I was like, oh no. I found a page called Cigarette Nostalgia. And I've been cigarette free for a couple years now, but this is pretty sick. Imagine beers, cigs, and some classic rock with the boys in here. This is a cool ass car. They do not make cool cars anymore. They do not. This would be so sick. Like, forget a Tesla. Give me one of these bad boys. This is so badass. There's a lot of random stuff in the news segment today, so I'm going to apologize in advance. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent posted, enjoyed meeting with President Nayib Bukele today at POTUS, Shield of the Americas Summit in Doral, Florida. I was glad to hear more about President Bukele's pro-market reforms for El Salvador and his efforts to make El Salvador a digital assets hub. We will continue to work together to advance strategies to strengthen our hemisphere. Wow. Waterfly said, use the like, don't be ass. Yeah, guys, don't be ass. Smash the like. Cryptospaces said, why so bullish, HQZ? I mean, to be fair, to be totally fair, guys, the price drops. It's not like you're looking for a ton of downside, you know what I mean? Like, how much farther down can it go? And sure, it can go down a lot, but I've said this 1,000 times, and this is peak copium, so excuse me. The downside risk... Hold on, let me do this. The downside risk stops at 0. Once you hit 0, you cannot lose any more money. But the upside risk can literally go up forever. The upside risk, or reward, I guess we'll call it, the upside reward is infinite. So when the price is already down so much, if you think to yourself, you're like, can it go down lower? Sure. But it can go down a lot less slower than it could go down before. Before, it could drop $126,000. Now it can only drop $66,000. You see? That's 50% less risk. I'm just saying, we are galaxy braining the copium. This is beyond comprehension. And if you are not on board, smash the like button anyways. Sign up for Kalshi with my link in the description. Deposit and trade with $25 or more. And we'll both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. Today's crypto market fear and greed index, according to CoinMarketCap, is at 17. Yesterday we were at 17. So we were just as fearful yesterday as we were today. CoinGlass is at 7. I believe it was 8 or 10 yesterday, so we are actually more fearful today according to CoinGlass. And then stock market is at 27, which is pretty spicy. Let's see, XRP, BNB still duking it out. The rest of the top 10 looks the same. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers at some point within the next century. Let's get back to the news. Let's see. 4-hour Bitcoin. Wow. $66,453.30. 56 cents. Very cool. All right, Watch Your Guru posted average U.S. gas prices rise to $3.45 for the first time since September 2024. Thank you, President Trump. Justin, Michael Saylor hints at buying more Bitcoin. The second century begins. What a freaking legend. There's a lot of news about Amazon laying people off, and then there's like community notes being like Amazon didn't lay off that many people or some bullcrap. The consensus is that Amazon laid off a bunch of people. And Marty Party posted, and another. This will continue to escalate. Buy and hold assets. The money printer is warming up. Universal basic income will be paid in stablecoin. I do not know about the stablecoin part, but I do know, or I do believe personally, that we will have universal basic income. I think it's going to be about $1,000 a month. That's an estimate based on what Grok told me. So, sue me for not having an original idea. I'm not an economist, nor do I have the ability to research as many things as quickly as Grok can. I'm too busy prepping for this stream for you guys. Waterflies. Okay, hold on. Lunar Entity said, if you get a capitulation in credit, you want people to switch bullish ASAP. Big reason why people missed out around 70K. HQZ said something crazy will happen before the end of the year. Tishu said, I'll hold what I have, but I ain't buying shit yet. By the way, I haven't seen that word said by influencer in a long time. What word? Waterfly said, is your mascot wearing condom for hat? The little, that's like a fisherman hat. It's like a little Bitcoin fisherman hat with a little fuzzy ball on the top. I have a bunch of those. I don't know where they're at, though. I lost them. They're MIA. Tishu. HQZ said, or just buy small amounts you feel comfortable with. CryptoSpaces said, it's like how the end of MicroStrategy fears have come to an end. What? Lunar Entity said, waiting on this print, I guess. Whatever, bam. Well, let's go pull it. Copy. Look at Bitcoin, get a little pumpy. Interesting. Switch to daily. All right. What are we looking for? This to go up or down? Tishu said, I didn't say hold. Who said hold? HQZ said, I thought the ghost was a condom the first time I saw it. Do your guys' condoms not have rubber bands at the end? Like the part that like squeezes, that holds on? You guys are just using like a coffee filter for a condom? That's a credit spread chart? Okay. Yes, I do think that I knew that. I don't know why I just went Italian. I think that I knew that. You said wrong again. I'm still not sure what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. All right. It's fun having an actual chat today. That's fun. I'm glad you guys have crawled out of your holes. Up is bad. Okay, up is bad. So we don't want this thing to go up. When does it print? March 5th. So today? Friday, March 6th. When the hell does that print? Tishu said hodl. What about it? George says that all the time. Alright. What just happened? Oh, God. My shit's broken now. Because I went into this credit spread thing. Help! Okay, good. I thought my chart was going to look stupid forever. Oh, that was scary. Alright. I think that's the most panic I've experienced in a long time. Lunar just said, well, bad for people locked in positions. If you have cash, you want to watch it peak on the weekly. All right. Let's continue. Universal basic income potentially coming in the next couple of years. Kobayashi letter posted. U.S. futures open in less than 24 hours. Yet, we have not seen any indication of de-escalation in the Middle East amid rapidly surging oil prices. Meanwhile, Kuwait and the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Qatar have all confirmed at least partial oil production shutdowns, and a full halt of around 20% of the world's LNG supply has taken effect in Qatar. The bigger problem here is that shutting down oil and gas facilities is not a simple process, particularly when it comes to restarting production. Once plants shut down, it can take weeks to months for production to ramp back up to full capacity. The next 24 hours are crucial. Unless there is an intervention, it appears that oil prices are setting up to surge above $100 a barrel. Prepare for extreme volatility tomorrow. It's okay, guys. President Trump said on the plane earlier, we were expecting this. It's going to be okay. We're going to win. He said, we're going to win. Lunar Entity said, I never get tired of watching people panic over a line graph. It's just candle closes smoothed out. Sometimes I like to switch the lines, look at 2 minute, 3 minute, 6 minute, and 12, or 2 month, 3 month, 6 month, and 12 month. Wow. My degen brain took over. I was like, what are these crazy low time frames? I was like, 2 minute. Who looks at the 2 minute? Oh no. I just exposed myself. I'm like hiding in a room of like stockbrokers and stuff, and then I start saying that, and they're like, wait a minute. You're a crypto bro, aren't you? I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. No, my cousin is, I swear. I just spent a weekend with him. I can't help it. Teacher said gas prices don't affect me much, and I drive a lot. Lunar Entity said lines on the minute chart madness. Oh, is it the 1 minute? Is it the minutes? Get out. I just made a whole joke about that not being the minutes. Breaking average U.S. gas prices are now expected to rise about $4.25 a gallon this month per poly market. This implies a 55% gain in gas prices in just 4 months. Wow! NVIDIA's AI chips are consuming memory at an unprecedented pace. NVIDIA's most recent Rubin chip now requires 288 gigabytes of RAM. This is 800% more memory of a high-end PC, more than the memory of a high-end PC, and 2,300% more than a high-end smartphone. By comparison, the H100 launched 4 years ago needed 80 gigabytes of RAM, or 72% less. In other words, each new generation of NVIDIA AI chip requires significantly more memory than the last, putting enormous strain on global supply. Furthermore, AI giants like Alphabet and OpenAI are locking up large portions of the global memory chip supply by purchasing millions of NVIDIA AI chips. As a result, average spot prices for 16 gigabyte DDR4 RAM are up 2,352% year over year to a record $76.90, while 8 gigabyte DDR4 prices are up 1,873% year over year to an all-time high of $28.90. The global memory chip shortage is out of control. Excuse me. HQZ said, what happened to all that free oil from Venezuela? We have it. They just raise prices. It takes weeks for the actual high oil prices to reach the pump anyways, so they just raise prices to steal from us. Tishu said, the hybrid was right decision. It's an old one now and paid out. Lunar Edge said, no, it's monthly, JJ. Okay, good. Tinfoil, but the best way... Okay, hold on, wait. We're ready. Tinfoil. But the best way to accelerate stress in CRE and private credit is to force the energy spread to spike. Big tell was when BlackRock blocked withdrawals last week. Ooh. CryptoSpaces said at 4.3 mil impressions on X, 700K left. Oh, nice. Yeah, dude, reply guy. Telling you. Teacher said, yeah, HQZ wasn't gas supposed to go down. That was what everybody was saying. Gas was supposed to go down. Silver production was supposed to change because of Mexico or something. The cartels. They just create a different headline every week. It's all just one big meme, dude. It's all one big meme. It's all political theater, BS. Lunar Entity said, just watching you wear that thing makes my scalp boil. Dude, it's so hot. That hat, I've said it before. If we all become like super broke from investing in a market that's potentially going into like the apocalypse, tinfoil, just tuck tinfoil in your shirt and you will bake, dude. It is so insulating, it's crazy. The tinfoil hat, I never realized was so damn hot. So like the ghetto ones where people just like put and they're like loose fitting and just crappy, I understand those ones now. You need some ventilation. Maybe would that be funny if we made a merch tinfoil hat? CryptoSpaces said it's Black Swan after Black Swan. I don't say, honestly, Black Swan to me is like, you get like a 20-30% drop in a day. That's the Black Swans that I remember. We haven't really had that yet. Bitcoin's down 50%. I think it's typical pullback in a bull market is around 40 or 50%. Lunar Entity said it's a white swan in my opinion. The rollover has been slow motion since Blue Owl blew up. Yeah, it's been weird, man. Finance-related job openings are collapsing. Finance and insurance job openings fell 117,000 in December to 134,000, the lowest level since February 2012. Available vacancies in these sectors have dropped 410,000 or 75% since the 2022 peak. openings are now even lower than at the 2001 recession bottom. By comparison, the largest monthly decline during the 2008 financial crisis was 125,000. As a result, the finance and insurance job openings rate fell to 1.9%, meaning fewer than 2 out of every 100 jobs in the sector are currently vacant, the lowest since February 2010. Excluding the 2009-2010 lows, this is the lowest rate recorded this century. The finance industry is bracing for more layoffs. Dang, AI's taking finance first. Okay. Breaking. The U.S. and Israel are discussing sending special forces into Iran, this is 13 hours ago, to seize its stockpile of enriched uranium, per Axios. Details include Iran currently holds 450 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium. The U.S. says this is convertible to weapons grade within weeks. It would likely take place at a later stage of the war. The U.S. is also considering bringing in nuclear experts to dilute it on site. U.S. stock market futures open in under 12 hours. Bitcoin, $66,400, $414.85. We are going down again. Let's check our poll. We got 11 votes. I'm going to end it. We're going to move on to poll number 2. I asked you guys. Well, I'm not allowed to see now. It's taking its time. Well, I'm going to get the second poll up while that decides when to populate the chat for me. Okay. Let's see. Let's go with this one. This one's fun. Pick one, the rest disappear forever. Coffee, tea, alcohol, any kind, and energy drinks. Any kind, the drink specifically. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please divert your attention to the poll in the chat. So the one that just finished, I asked you guys, what are you doing right now? 64% of you guys said holding cash. 27% said buying the dip. 9% said panic selling everything. And 0% said loading up on gold and silver. We got 11 votes on that total. It was a pretty conclusive poll. Lunar Entity said, again, this is all stress-induced to accelerate the planned new monetary system, whatever it is. Basel III was what started this global mess. Powell was happy with its progress. Debt inflation. Give us the rundown then, Lunar Entity. Give us like the TLDR of this whole concept, because you seem to know more than I do. I don't think I've ever heard of this, but it definitely seems like someone's playing out for sure. Okay, Waterfly said I'm 85% invested. All right, Tisha said coffee. Yeah, dude, I'd have to go with coffee as well. That's all I drink now. I wasn't drinking coffee for the longest time. Okay, the water desalination strikes. This is 12 hours ago from Kobayashi letter. Yesterday, Iran said the U.S. struck Iranian water desalination sites, leaving less than or around 30 villages without water. Iran called this a dangerous move with grave consequences. Then minutes ago, Bahrain announced that Iran struck their water desalination facilities. This is being described as the worst-case scenario. Why? Because most Gulf countries can't survive without desalinated water. It accounts for 95% or 90% of Kuwait's drinking water, 86% in Oman, 70% in Saudi Arabia, and 42% in the UAE. Drinking water for millions of people is at risk. I gotta say, and again, this is probably really out of touch and incredibly stupid. As an individual, if I didn't live in Michigan and I paid for stupid, shitty water from the dumbass cities without being surrounded by the largest bodies of fresh water in the world, I would have, and I don't know if this is even a thing, can you get your own, like, desalination? Can I buy my own water desalinator? Is that a thing? I feel like you can make your own. You can absolutely buy your own, ranging from small portable survival kits to larger installed systems for boats or homes. Boom. There you go. That would be my first focus. As a grown adult, I would worry about water desalination immediately. Okay. Waterfly said yes. Lunar Entity said Basel III essentially transitioned sovereign obligations to collateral, meaning banks could leverage national debt markets. This was originally done to prevent liquidity contractions, collapsing things. You can make your own. That I did know. But sometimes that's not liable. Sometimes people don't have time for all that stuff. Lunar Entity, so from what you're describing, I believe that that's similar to the stablecoin idea that we talked about, where the United States could just tokenize the debt and be like, this is worth $38 trillion, you know, in the most unreasonable sense, of course. Waterfly said most homes in Las Vegas have that in homes. Yeah, that's huge. I think that that's huge. That should be your first concern. If you're an adult human with a family, you should have your own water desalination. Like, it's stupid that we have to think about that in 2026, but that's the world that we live in. Lunar Entity said, however, look at the results. 16 years later, and the damage is apparent for the rest of the world. The banking system, though, if you measure debt markets as their available capital, they're doing well. Interesting. Okay. Cheers, guys. Happy Sunday. I'm glad we got a decent amount of people here. Appreciate you guys for joining. Bitcoin's still trying to decide if it wants to be green or red. DXY 99.59 and holding. It was pretty violently pumping earlier. It's weird to see it stall. Next, in the news, breaking, Iranians are reporting thick black clouds of smoke this morning following Israeli strikes on oil depots and refineries. Rain is being described as black and oily, with Iranian government warning of acid rain. I believe it's soot. Tishu said, can you check Contentos? Contentos? Ooh, big pump. Big pump. What the heck is this? Dang. What is this? Is this like a content creation thing from Mexico? Is that racist? It just sounds like a Mexican word for content. Spanish? Maybe Spanish is what I meant to say. Mexican is not a language. I'm so sorry. I'm a white guy. Give me a break, man. I don't know what this is, but you got a pretty decent spike out of it. 43% on that candle alone. That's huge. It doesn't seem to be sustaining these spikes, but if you're in it, man, hell yeah. Okay, tissues, yep. Lunar Entity said, however, look at the result. The damage is apparent. The rest of the world, yeah, we read that. Lunar Entity also said, people talk about the U.S. debt, but the entire world is boiling in the same pot. Oh, 100%. It's definitely just a political talking point. So who's going to collect? Been my question since 2011. Dude, that's literally that meme of the aliens. The aliens are like, the entire world is this much in debt. And then the aliens are like, who do they owe? It really is a meme. It's just rotating at this point. That's like you lending me money, and then I lend you money, and we both owe each other money. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to cancel itself out over time. They do all of this crazy, overly complex weaving of political theater, and then they're like, the money has value, and everyone's like, oh shit, they gotta be right. Look at all this craziness that we're going through for the money. Look at all of this stuff. You're paying more money for the oil because the oil is harder to get. The money has to hold value. The world is this much in debt, which means the money's worth even more, because why would they be in debt if they could just print their way out of it? And the U.S. is like, we can't print our way out of it. We gotta work hard to make it or something. And everyone's like, oh yeah, this really is valuable. It's the goofiest thing, dude, I swear. Lunar Entity said, I think when they pull the trigger on those obligations is when we get blessed with this new monetary system. So you really think we're going into a new monetary system? I like it, dude. I like it. Hopefully we all just get houses. Bless us with a house. Yay, communism. All right. Next, Kobe SE letter. Average U.S. gas price now expected to rise about $4.50 a gallon this month per poly market. This would mark a plus 64% increase in 4 months. That's a lot. South Korea is imposing an oil price cap for the first time since 1997. That's hilarious. I like it. I like price caps. I'm sorry. If that's like illegal or like communistic or whatever, I don't give a shit. I think price caps are hilarious. If you can't make, food or gas or utilities for this much money, you can't make food or gas or utilities. Bye. Because guess what? People that want to make money are going to figure out how to make those things for that price. It's not that hard. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch. Next, we've got key events this week. U.S. stock market and oil futures open 6 p.m. Eastern time today, so they've been open for a couple hours already. February existing home sales data comes out on Tuesday. Wednesday, we get February CPI inflation data. Friday, we get U.S. Q4 2025 GDP data. Friday, we also get January PCE inflation data and January JOLTS job openings data. All eyes are on oil prices tonight. Yay. Oil production in Iraq has now declined by 3 million barrels per day. Production has declined from 4.3 million barrels per day to 1.3 million barrels per day. CryptoSpaces said gas prices are already skyrocketing, by the way. I know. Yeah, we're aware. That's definitely recession incoming. The Fed can't cut like this. I bet you they can. Retail is buying dips at an unprecedented pace. I told you guys I don't like it when retail buys dips. And everyone's like, oh my, look at retail buying the dips. Look at them go. It's such a bull market because retail's buying the dips. And I'm like, retail doesn't know what to do. They're just blindly throwing money. Average daily equity purchases by retail investors during S&P 500 down days is running at the highest level on record in 2026. This is 100% higher than during the 2021 meme stock frenzy. Year-to-date retail purchases on down days are 2.5 times higher, 2.5 times larger than on up days. In February alone, purchases on down days were 4.3 times higher than up days, rising from 2.1 times in January. Individual investors have consistently bought more on down days than up days in each of the last 7 years. Retail seems to be the single most aggressive buyer of every sell-off. That's spooky, man. That is spooky. Oil markets reopen in 4 hours. Let me read the chat really quick. Teach Juice said, I'm not on Contentos, but it is on the top coin in the crypto.com app. I am no longer buy or sell there. High fees, but the app has a good use case. Lunar Energy said, banks haven't bought this much gold since 1940, and we got a new world order just over half a decade later. CryptoSpaces said, imagine a rate hike and we go to zero, or retail buying the S&P. That's smart of them. Oil markets reopen in 4 hours. This was 6 hours ago. Meanwhile, we've seen widespread escalation in the Middle East this weekend. Oil depots and water desalination plants are being targeted in strikes on both sides. Hours ago, Iraq confirmed that 3 million barrels of oil production per day are offline. This is already larger than the feared Russian supply loss in early 2022, which sent oil prices toward 130 a barrel, which we recovered from no problem, by the way. And, the Russian oil disruption fears in 2022 were never even realized. To top it off, Qatar is now expecting oil prices to rise to 150 a barrel. Something must change. This has become completely unsustainable. Expect a very busy week ahead. What do we think, guys? Do we think Trump's going to step in and say or do something that's going to change all this? What do we think? We got 7 votes on the poll. I'm going to end it because we are not tied for the top spot. I asked you guys to pick one. The rest disappear forever. 43% of you guys picked coffee. Thank God. 29% said alcohol, any kind, the drink. 14% said tea, and 14% said energy drinks. We got a total of 7 votes. Appreciate you guys for participating. Let's do the next one. We asked this yesterday. I'm going to ask it again today. Do you think Trump is going to make a market-moving announcement soon? Next 24 to 48 hours. Yes, he's going to save us. Yes, but it'll be bad. No, he's too busy winning. No, he doesn't give a crap. Those are your options. Please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Do you think Trump is going to make a market-moving announcement soon in the next 24 to 48 hours? Your options are yes, he's going to save us. No, or yes, but it'll be bad. No, he's too busy winning. Or no, he doesn't give a crap. Let's see. Lunar Entity said also private credit was messing around in infrastructure markets related to water at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025. Makes you wonder. Ooh, that is a little spicy. Crypto Spaces said probably not. 88 Metals said what's oil currently? 110 bucks ish. How do I check actually? Ticker for a barrel of oil. WTI, West Texas Intermediate. Crude oil is CL, often followed by month code. What? WTI. Let's just do WTI. $104. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Holy shit. Wow. Crypto Spaces said the Fed will do something, I think. Waterfly said I picked alcohol. You all are nuts. Lunar Entity said tea is the way. I gotta get back to my my chai latte. I miss my chai latte, man. Chai latte is delicious. Plus, I've been staying up real late. And then I had a weird dream last night, dude. I had a really weird dream that I effed up this toilet in my dream. I don't know where I was. I was in this weird house. There was like this creepy couple. I think they wanted us to like swing with them. It was really creepy. And I was like, can I use the bathroom? And I was using the bathroom on the second story. This is all in my dream, by the way. And I like broke it. And I was trying to turn the water off. So I'm like, for some reason, I'm like wrapped around the toilet, trying to turn it off. And then I look and the back is gone. And there's a big pipe. And for some reason, instead of like, the twist was backwards. So I like turned the water on more. And this pipe was facing me in my dream. And it just goes, and it starts blasting. And then I woke up. But the whole time I was freaking out because there's like this weird like 2-story cavern in the back of the toilet. It was so strange, dude. It was such a weird dream. I don't know why I'm dreaming about toilets. The market's been so shit. It's just sending me subliminal messages in my sleep now too. It's like, your portfolio is trash. It's a broken toilet, so you can't even poop in it. And I'm like sleeping. I'm like, no. Out of control, man. Crypto Spaces said, no, he's too busy winning. Tishu said S&P not down enough. Trump is chilling on that one. Should have filled that tank, JJ. Lunar Entity said, just saying, I exited around 97 for oil. This stinks. Waterfly said, is that why FIW fell this week, Lunar? Bitcoin still not really giving a crap about anything. DXY up even higher, 99.64. Are we going to hit 100 before the end of the stream? It's entirely possible. Guys, don't forget to check out the poll in the chat. Did we go through all this? Yeah. All right, next. Adam Kobiesi posted, not including this weekend's impending opening gap higher, our models show U.S. CPI inflation rising to 3.2%. If current oil prices are sustained, a move to $110 a barrel opens for 3.5% CPI, and $130 a barrel opens for 3.9%. The Fed's worst nightmare seems to be coming to fruition. Oh no! What is Warsh gonna do? Let's actually check this out. I'm gonna ask Grok. Because I'm curious. Yeah, okay. If oil spikes out of control. Whoops. And causes inflation to spike as well, what will the Fed do with jobs numbers worsening? Can they even raise rates? Or will that lead to a recession? It seems awfully bleak out there. What are your thoughts? And you know what's crazy? And I've mentioned this a million times before too. My day-to-day life has not changed still. All this going on, there's a lot of fear-mongering. And again, all of this could flip. Like, it takes a long time for this to build up, for the scary stuff to build up. But then with, like, one announcement, one ceasefire, one deal made, one tweet of, like, negotiations could absolutely, like, giga-send the market into the stratosphere. That's what's crazy about all of this. Um, Crypto space is that all I realize is that boomers are the golden gooses of this earth. Everything goes in their favor, yeah, until they die. Philly said, "Hey friends, what's going on, Philly? Happy Saturday, Sunday. Happy Sunday, my friend." Lunar Entity said a lot of preferred positions are usually taken with the intent to hedge them with puts, which is where money is made highly likely. All right, let's continue. DXY 9964. Crazy stuff. All right, we got crude oil hits $150 CPI inflation looking at 4.3. What do we think it's going to? It's at 104 right now, which puts us at around 3.5% CPI, allegedly. All right, individual investors are piling into oil funds at a record pace. Retail inflows. I repeat, retail is buying oil into the United States oil ETF USO surged to a record 36 million on Friday. This officially surpasses the previous high set in April 2020 during the global pandemic shutdown. Now, also keep in mind, we said the same thing for silver. We were like, retail silver, and silver went from like $50 to $100 and something. So I'm just saying, not everything happens within like a week. Sometimes it takes a couple weeks, and people do make money. So I'm not saying don't ever listen to what retail's doing. It's just the majority of the time, maybe retail gets a little carried away. Majority of the time. Crypto Space said, "Did you say until they die?" That's not nice. Old people die, dude. I'm gonna die too. I'm gonna be a boomer who's gonna die of old age eventually. Lunar Entity said, "One problem with private credit." I never claimed to be nice, to be fair. One problem with private credit blowing up is that they are effectively leveraged via acquisition of insurance markets, especially life insurance products. Yeah, I got questions about life insurance products. How do you actually get paid out? Like, I know that they only cover certain things, so if you have life insurance and somebody dies a certain way, they can be like, "Ooh, listen, he was not covered for being struck by a, like, bullet-sized meteorite while he was driving. He was only covered for being struck by a bullet-sized meteorite while he was stationary. We do not cover driving bullet-sized meteorite strikes. I'm so sorry for your loss." Waterfly said, "I will die." It happens. It does happen. Cheers, Waterfly. Appreciate you, my friend. I will also die. Brisket 101 said, "This is probably a lower high for oil that bleeds out, especially if retail's buying." This officially surpasses the previous high set in April 2020 during the global pandemic shutdown. As a result, cumulative 5-day retail purchases surged to plus 82 million, an all-time high. This is well above the 67 million peak recorded during the 2020 oil crash, when prices briefly turned negative. I remember that. I remember talking about that because people were like, "You can get paid to store oil in your field." That was funny. I was like calling people. I was like, "How do we buy property?" Okay. U.S. oil prices spiked 35% last week, officially posting their largest weekly gain on record in data going back to 1982. Is oil the next meme theme? The next meme theme for retail investors. Wow. Waterfly said, "Where you buying your life insurance? Temu?" Oh, I don't know. I just assume that every insurance is trash like that. Because I remember the State Farm commercial was my favorite. I think it was State Farm. It might have been a different one. Not sponsored by any of them. Although I would love a sponsorship. State Farm, call me. You're actually my insurance of choice. But I remember the commercial. It's like storming outside, and the guy's he's like freaking out, and then he looks out his window, and the lightning strikes, and a tree falls and smashes his car. And he's on the phone, and he's like on the phone with his insurance. He goes, "A tree fell on my car. Am I covered?" And then it shows the insurance guy in the office. He's like, "Was it a ficus?" And the guy's like, "What? No, I don't think so." And then the insurance guy's like, "You're only covered if it was a ficus." That was pretty good, dude. That's what insurance companies do. They're all one big scam. So no, I don't buy my life insurance in Temu. I buy it in America. 'Cause I'm proud to be an American. Where at least I know I'm free. This stream is so unhinged today. Crypto Space has said, "With gas prices rising, inflation comes back, I'm becoming a doomer." Dude, it's so hard not to be a doomer. I'm literally scrolling on X and everything is like, the world is ending tomorrow. World War III has started and you're going to die. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I love social media. This is so much fun. I'm going to doom scroll all day. Waterfly said that's homeowners, not life insurance. Okay, that's fair. Touche. Kobayashi later, investors are dumping Asian stocks at a rapid pace. That's so racist. Biden would never allow this. Global investors sold 11 billion in equities in developing Asia, excluding China, this week, the largest weekly outflow since March 2022. Outside of the 2022 bear market and the 2020 pandemic sell-off, this marks the largest weekly outflow on record. Taiwan was hit hardest with a record 7.9 billion in withdrawals, followed by South Korea at 1.6 billion and India at 1.3 billion. These outflows mark a sharp reversal after the region's equities saw massive inflows in the first 2 months of 2026. As a result, the MSCI Asia Pacific Index dropped 6.3% last week, the biggest weekly loss in nearly 6 years. Asian stocks are losing momentum. Dang. Breaking, Iran names Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Ali Khamenei, the new supreme leader of Iran. Breaking, the U.S. is dismayed by Israel's strikes on 30 Iranian oil depots on Saturday, sparking the first significant disagreement between the allies since the war began. I literally was joking about this yesterday. I was like, I'm pretty sure we cannot take the oil once it has been set on fire and literally exploded. And apparently that's true. I'm glad to find out I'm not completely retarded. Waterfly said, I read that already. CryptoSpaces said it's crazy because non-stock and crypto folk have no idea about any of this and could care less, to be honest. There's a meme about that in the news segment. I'm glad you said something. They'll only care when gas is so high, they start protesting. I did see a guy rip a Trump sticker off the back of his truck talking shit because of the war that's happening right now. So that was pretty spicy. They're getting angry, man. They're getting angry. Details include the strikes reportedly went far beyond what the U.S. expected when Israel notified it in advance. We don't think it was a good idea, a senior U.S. official said. An Israeli official said the U.S. message to Israel was, what the F? I do like the idea of, like, there being just, like, group chats that just say, like, U.S. Israel. And it's literally just, like, the two leaderships, like, texting each other. They're like, yo, what's up? You send those bombs yet? Yeah, I just sent them. You watching the news? Hell yeah. What the F? What do you mean, what the F? Why'd you blow that up? We were going to take that. Oh, shit. They said that they were going to I totally forgot. They're like in the Iran or in the Israeli war room or whatever. They're like, oh shit. I totally forgot. They wanted the oil. Lunar Entity said, well, the problem with private credit tanking the insurance market is how illiquid it is. A crunch would cause systemic chaos. I do hate insurance companies unless I'm filing for a third-party claim on somebody who hit my parked van again. An Israeli official, yep, what the F? The president doesn't like the attack. He wants to save the oil. He doesn't want to burn it, and it reminds people of higher gas prices, a Trump advisor said. U.S. gas prices are now expected to surge well above $4 a gallon this month. Yay! You know what I'm really excited for? I'm genuinely, legitimately excited for the I did that stickers to appear back on the gas pumps. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. That started with the Trump ones during his first term, and then there was Biden ones, and now there's going to be Trump ones again. The people that have a surplus of these I did that stickers are probably like, yes! They called Israel. They're like, what do I got to do to get you guys to F up the gas prices? And Israel's like, say less. Consider it done. Big sticker. Thanks, you guys. Crypto Spaces, why'd you blow that up? What the heck, man? Lunar Entity said, think Terra Luna. In this instance, just a comparison. Oh, that's spooky. That's terrifying. I don't like that comparison. Okay. Now, Donald J. Trump signed an executive order to coordinate federal efforts against foreign cybercrime and scam networks targeting Americans. Thank God. This should have been done 10 years ago. Fear. This one's my favorite chart in the world. Even after a small dip, the World Uncertainty Index is still higher than most of its history. Well, the most arbitrary chart on the planet. People are so uncertain. Update to Bitcoin and Ethereum have both shown return of over 2,000% since the lows of 2018 bear market. Higher time frame to leverage shares. Is that what that is? High time frame to leverage shares? Pretty cool. So all you gotta do is hold for 8 years. Just hold for 8 years, guys. All we gotta do is wait 8 years. It'll be fine. Adoption. Another 116 companies added Bitcoin to their holdings in the past year per river. Very cool. Crypto Spaces said that thing going parabolic. What, oil or this crap? Or the stupid, the arbitrary ass World Uncertainty Index. I'm gonna make arbitrary, dude. I'm gonna make a whole X account that just posts arbitrary charts. Never saw the uncertainty chart until this year. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about, dude. They're just making shit up now. They're like the shock and awe oil prices chart is off the charts. Never has the world been in this much shock and awe over oil prices. Wow. And then my favorite is when they're like not counting 2020, 2018, or 2016, this is the highest level this specific metric has been. Like, just say that it's like the 4th highest it's ever been. Why do you have to remove a bunch? That's just the most arbitrary piece of information you could provide. Not counting tomorrow, today will be the oldest I have ever been. Okay. No shit. Lunar Entity said you have to realize what the pandemic was besides a giant experiment and excuse to ease the system. Can they just do that again then? Is that fucked up? I'm joking, by the way. That was a joke. We have, I think you said we have no can to kick or something. Insight, Coinbase CEO says when you send money abroad, it should just arrive without a massive haircut. He said this a while ago because I remember somebody reposting it and said, what the fuck do you know about haircuts? I thought it was freaking hilarious. Because Brian Armstrong is bald. Oh man, good stuff, good stuff. South Korea is considering its first oil price cap in nearly 30 years as Middle East tensions push fuel prices. I'm so excited for communism, guys. Insight users sued Kalshi alleging hidden rules voided winning trades in market on Al Khamenei leaving power. So here's my argument about this. I think that this is the most bullshit, frivolous lawsuit on the planet. I looked at that market. Kalshi's whole shtick, their whole thing is we don't deal in markets that bet on the death of an individual. And I kind of agree with that. I'm totally fine with that. They've been very public, outspoken about this. And in the rules for every bet, they lay out the rules very, very detailed. And I went and I looked when all of this restarted. And I was like, maybe they're going to kill that guy now. I went and I looked again at that same bet because I placed that bet before. And there was a new disclaimer that said the market will not resolve to won or lost if this guy dies. It'll resolve to whatever the current price is at that moment. So if it's 50-50 and the dude dies, the market locks up and you can cash out your 50-50. That's what you get. So the people that are suing are just people that didn't read the rules. It's just silly. Lunar Entity said, not surprised we're striking Iran this year instead of last year. Sailor said the second century begins. Sailor hints that another 100 buys. What a freaking legend. StarCloud CEO says they plan to mine Bitcoin from space. Me too. Market, the past 24 hours, wiped out 153 million in longs. OpenAI's hardware leader Caitlin Kalinowski resigned, citing concerns over the company's AI deal with the Pentagon. I mean, I'll take all of these people's position. Give me like a year of their wage, and then I'll resign as well. Coinbase Bitcoin Premium Index has been green only 6 times since December 15th. 66% of those occurred in the past 2 weeks. Coinbase Bitcoin Premium. That's crazy. The stablecoin market cap just hit a new all-time high of $313 billion. This is what I've been saying. The stablecoin market cap is going to continue to accelerate, spearheading adoption, and it's not going to be a metric that we can use to measure any kind of bull cycle or any kind of bullish momentum in crypto at all whatsoever. Because people are going to use it like cash. It's going to be the same story as the M2 money supply all over again. People are like, stablecoin market cap. Oh my gosh, look at all the money that could enter the market. The same thing was said for the M2 money supply. That lag disappeared. People stopped talking about it, and that was it. It is literally M2 2.0, the sequel. It's a meme. We're becoming a meme. Now, researchers say an experimental AI agent attempted unauthorized crypto mining during training by diverting GPU resources and opening a reverse SSH tunnel to an external server. That's freaking hilarious. Bro just wanted some cash, dude. Give him a little bit of money. Crypto Space said because he's a bald man. Lunar Entity said, on a related note, Pet Goat 2 is proceeding nicely. What? Pet Goat 2 is proceeding nicely. I don't know what that is. You're going to pet a goat for the second time? I miss Tom Selleck's goat. He hasn't shown up in a while. I think he's mad because the market looks like doo-doo. Hope he's doing good, though. Big U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs recorded their second straight week of net inflows, bringing in about $568 million and ending a 5-month streak of investor outflows. Positivity number go up. Fact, the 20 millionth Bitcoin will be mined this week. And I believe there are only 1 million remaining after that. And it's going to take 114 years to mine those remaining 1 million, which is pretty damn cool. Insight analyst Willy Woo warns a short-term Bitcoin rally may be a bull trap as the market remains in the middle of a broader bear cycle. Yes. Realizing there's an entire world outside of X and they don't even think about markets or crypto. This is the one that I was talking about. There's an entire world outside of X and they don't even think about markets or crypto. It's pretty trippy. It's pretty trippy. All right, next. Justin, Bitcoin drops below 69K. No! $66,273.95. DXY, 99.67 and pumping. Gold. Ooh, gold was green for a second. What? Get out. Good for them. Wow. Lunar Entity said, esoteric video. I check back in on periodically as world events progress. Originally posted back in 2012 after they had that weird ceremony where they floated the statue of Anubis past the Statue of Liberty. Oh. I don't know what that is. Philly said, I missed something. What's the lawsuit about, JJ? Okay, so Kalshi had a market. Had a market where you could bet that the supreme leader of Iran, I forget his freaking name, Khamenei, would be out before 2027. And you could bet on different months before May, June, July, August, whatever. Yes or no. And in the rules on Kalshi, it said this market is not betting on whether or not the guy dies. It's whether or not he steps down, is removed, he flees, is replaced, any of that. If he dies, then the market resolves to whatever the last traded prices were. So if it's 50-50 and it goes up to like 60-40 and you're ahead and the guy's dead, your 60-40 gets locked in. No one can do anything now. You can take out your 60, the other guy can take out his 40, and that's it. You cannot bet on Kalshi. They do not allow you to take bets on whether or not somebody will die. That's it. And for whatever reason, the users are like, Kalshi stole our money. They didn't settle the market. And it literally said, front and center, blatantly in the rules, if the guy dies, the market does not resolve to he's removed. That's completely different. Lunar Entity said if people would bother to read rules, they'd waste less money on dead-end lawsuits. 100%. 100%. Bitcoin, $66,355.14. Gold recovering mildly. Silver recovering slightly less mildly. DXY still pumping. 99.67. I'm telling you, man. It might hit 100 before the end of the stream. That'd be crazy. Bitcoin, though, weirdly not dumping. I mean, it's not doing great, honestly. We'll see. If this is not going to be bullish engulfing, I suspect it to look something like this. Who knows, though? Who knows? We got to wait for it tomorrow. And, you know, any kind of news can change the market entirely, so. All right, next, Coin Bureau. Bitcoin just erased its entire Iran war rally. Bitcoin has fully retraced the pump to 74K, falling back to 66K range. The move comes as markets digest the U.S.-Israel war with Iran, which is which has sent oil surging and triggered a global risk-off mood across stocks and crypto. I will say this regarding the tank filling scenario and me holding off on filling my tank. I have gas right now. So if tomorrow or the next day something is announced or something happens and gas prices drop, then I'm still good for having waited. I've reached the conclusion that like the best thing for me to do in these scenarios is if I don't do anything and I just get gas when I need it, then I'm at less risk of giving a shit. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. No limits. This is from December 31st, 2025, and it just popped up on my feed. I was like, this is interesting, and I like to read these. I feel like it's fun. So let's see if this guy ends up being right. No limit on December 31st, 2025 posted no limit predictions for 2026. Gold 6,800, silver 120. What did silver get to? Didn't it get around 120? No, it actually didn't even hit 100. What? Oh, yes, it did. I was going to say, okay, it did hit 120. Okay. All right, so that's been achieved. Pretty cool. What else? Huge banking crisis. USD falling off a cliff. Oh, unemployment 6%. Jerome Powell gets replaced. That one's like, I think that's inevitable. That's literally unavoidable. The next exchange collapse. GTA 6 delayed again. That would piss me off. By the way, guys, when GTA 6 comes out, the streams might get really, really short. Unless something crazy is going on in the market, I'm probably not going to stream crypto and like stocks and stuff. When GTA 6 comes out, it's probably going to be GTA 6. Just so we're clear. Lunar Energy said, anyway, if you get a 2008, it'll come from the insurance market this time. Okay. Tesla successfully launched robo-taxis. Bitcoin bottoms between 40 and 50K. Every altcoin drops at least 70%. Yay! Most of them are already down 70%. Commercial real estate vacancy hits 30%. Hell yeah. Excuse me. Let's see how this plays out. Keep in mind, I've called every major top and bottom for over 10 years. When I make my next move, I'll share it as for everyone else to see. If you haven't followed me, you'll regret it. Those are my favorite when they end with this. So good. Bitcoin forecasted to go as low as 61K in March per traders of Kalshi. I don't know why Michael Saylor's there. Paid partnership by Kalshi? I want a paid partnership. I would do a Kalshi sponsorship. Philly said that's bizarre. Green Candle posted just in. Billionaire Dan Moorhead just said live on Bloomberg that all AI agents will buy and save in Bitcoin. It's already happening. What happens when billions of AI agents are competing for 21 million coins? Wow. When are we in the cycle of market emotions? Oh, where are we in the cycle of market emotions? Okay, where do you guys think we are? Let's do a poll. Let's do the next poll for this, actually. I like this. 60%. Okay, we got 10 votes. I'm going to end the current poll. I asked you guys, do you think Trump is going to make a market-moving announcement soon, next 24 to 48 hours? 60% of you guys said no, he doesn't give a crap. 20% said yes, he's going to save us. 20% said no, he's too busy winning. We got a total of 10 votes. Next, I'm going to ask you guys, we got 4 options. What do we look like we're at? This is for Bitcoin specifically. So let's get a zoom out here. Let me go to the clean chart. And let me zoom out. I'm going to go to the weekly. Zoom way the heck out. All right. Are we can be at anxiety, denial, panic. Well, I'll go anxiety, denial, capitulation, or anger. Those really aren't that far from each other, to be completely honest. Anxiety. Okay, where are we? Wall Street cheat sheet. Anxiety. Denial. I'm going to go capitulation or anger. Let me know what you guys think. Poll in the chat. Where are we on the Wall Street cheat sheet? Specifically for Bitcoin, we can be in anxiety, we can be at denial, we can be at capitulation, or we can be at anger. Let me know. Personally, let's see, actually. I'm gonna steal this and I'm gonna put it on the chart. I'm gonna put it on the Bitcoin chart. So let's see. Let's make this thing transparent. Okay. See, it's hard to even scale it properly. Because the rise up really didn't look anything like that either. That fits the best. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Oh, okay. I forgot I could stretch. I forgot I could stretch the Bitcoin chart. That's so embarrassing. Okay. Definitely not. See, I mean, I don't. It definitely seems bottomy to me. And then what's even cooler, let me make it slightly less transparent now so we can see a little bit better. So Wall Street cheat sheet, we got our rise, we got our top, we got our little shelf, and then we got our drop and our secondary shelf, which is going to eventually dip lower, unfortunately. And that kind of plays out on the fractal as well, going down to that 51.5. Everything is converging. The stars are aligned, and I might be right. So prepare for me to be even more annoying than I already am. That would be pretty cool. If this was the way that it played out, that would be pretty cool. The only anomaly would be this spike right here, because the Wall Street cheat sheet starts off right here, and the chart actually does that. Then the Wall Street cheat sheet deviates a little bit. Let's do this. I'm going to draw it a little bit better. I'm going to draw over the Wall Street cheat sheet just to really get a good copy of it. I fucked up a little bit right there, but that's fine. Okay, now I'm going to just delete it. That's pretty dang close. That is pretty dang close. Again, the only deviation is this. I'm not saying we're bottomed. I definitely don't think we're bottomed. I think we're either going to 51.5 or that maybe 60K. I think we're for sure going a little bit lower. But I like the idea of us holding 50. It kind of makes sense. At least right now it does. You know, I might change my mind later. The market's dynamic, but I'm in favor of us being near-ish the bottom. I think we're closer to the bottom than we are to the top. I do. That is my opinion. What do you guys think so far? Let me check the chat. Poll, 50% think we're in denial, 50% think we're in capitulation. We only got 2 votes, guys. Go vote in the poll. Where do you think we are on the Wall Street cheat sheet? Which is right where? The heck is a Wall Street cheat sheet? Is it just not there ever? That's stupid. Lunar Entity said, for reference, the lower high from the previous run has always held Ethereum included. Lower high. This guy? I like that. That's at 58. 58, 59. Are you talking this guy? Oh, 47. Okay. I like that. Okay. And that does kind of correlate with the 51.5. I'll take it, man. I will for sure take that. Anybody that agrees with me, I agree with. Okay. Bitcoin, 66,460. Gold, recovering, 5,078. Silver, recovering, $80. DXY, 99.64. Very nice. Wall Street cheat sheet. Oh my gosh, a lot of stuff loaded in. Let me zoom down, down, down. Oh my gosh, I added so much extra stuff. Did I miss? Yeah. What the heck? We added so much stuff. Holy crap. Okay. S&P 500 closed below its 20-week moving average for the first time in 12 months. The last time led to an 18% dump in the market. Going back to 2018, falling below the 20-week has often been a precursor of more weakness to come. What do we think? What do we got for the poll? We got 3 votes. Denial. Most of you guys are saying denial. Let me check really quick. Denial is that first hump. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm actually going to end the poll because I want to ask you guys this next one. We got 3 votes. Majority of you guys said denial. The other person said capitulation. I like both of those answers. Next poll. Do you think we'll see a proper bear market on the S&P within the next 6 months. And then in parentheses, minus 20% or more. Yes, it's inevitable. No, they won't let that happen. Yes, but we'll get out of it fast. No, no AI and robots will save us. Okay, let me know what you guys think. Poll in the chat. Do you think we'll see a proper bear market on the S&P within the next 6 months, minus 20% or more? Your options are yes, it's inevitable. No, they won't let it happen. Yes, but we'll get out of it fast. No, AI and robots will save us. Excuse me. Okay, next. Oil prices. U.S. oil prices officially surged above $104 a barrel for the first time since July 2022. U.S. oil prices are now up 90% since the December low. Brent crude oil surges 18% to $110 in the first 10 minutes of trading. That's pretty crazy. DXY getting red now. Interesting. Brent crude oil. Dang. Do we got any news updates? Lunar Entity said, I'm in the inevitable corner because of the rolling obligations in the corporate and private credit sector being refinanced mid-year. All right. Refinanced, yes. Breaking. Okay, so there's some spooky stuff going on in New York. Hopefully, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn and Bronson and everybody else in New York is safe. At this time, evacuations are now underway on Manhattan Upper East Side after the New York Police Department bomb squad and the FBI discovered a suspicious device inside a parked vehicle as bomb robots move in to investigate it. That's pretty crazy. I will say, for the advancement of robotics, I think the best use case is going to be bomb squad stuff like this, because then you don't have to risk anybody. Imagine like a Terminator firefighter. That would be so sick. That would be so badass. Coinfessions. Made more money than all my classmates combined last year, but whenever I share something, they don't even care. I mean, that's why you made more money than them. I was happier before I became involved in crypto. Dang. Tishu said, I will always wonder about the lurkers viewers, and I understand as I was a lurker once. I invite you to at least say hi in the chat. Welcome. Tishu, I don't know if we have lurkers. I think that we just have really, really low views. Like, incredibly low concurrent viewership. Cheers, though. Happy Sunday. Okay. She has no idea we have life-changing money. Been in crypto since 2021 and never really made any money. A few months ago, I bought a meme coin, and when my account was at 30K, I was so euphoric, I told my girlfriend we will get married when my net worth reaches 75K. When it reached 75K, I cashed out, but told her it crashed and I only got 10K out of it. She has no idea we have life-changing money because I want to spend the money on starting a business and not a wedding. That is actually really messed up. That's so crazy. Why would you do that? This guy's never going to be in a healthy relationship. Wow. That is so nuts. I think that's messed up. I'm not a fan. Whale Guru posted, tonight will change the world forever. Something massive is going to happen. I can't leak it, but you all know deep inside what is coming. Trust your gut and pray to God. Tishu said 15 watchers right now. Yeah, that's the most we've had. So the 15 watchers right now is like making up for the really bad week we just had. Lunar Entity said, dude has his priorities ready to go. That's so crazy, dude. Don't tell a girl that you're going to marry her if you're going to bail. That's grody. I don't like it. Breaking. U.S. stock market futures open sharply lower as oil prices extend their rally to 53% since March 1st. S&P 500 minus 1.7%. Nasdaq 100 minus 1.7%. Dow Jones minus 2%. WTI crude plus 14.5%. Brent plus 10.5%. No, I read that already. Natural gas plus 5%. Wow, my brain just shut off. What is going on? Clicked on the wrong button on my phone. Lunar Energy said, probably a Shark Tank contestant. Maybe. Some of those people have the craziest ideas. Breaking, U.S. oil prices extend gains to plus 23% on the day, now trading above $111 a barrel. Oil prices have officially doubled in 3 months. Bitcoin, $66,610. Oh, $606. Gold, still recovering, 5,075. It's been about the same price this whole time. Same with silver. DXY, 99.60. Are we rejecting, or is it cooling off? I don't know if the DXY needs to cool off, honestly. Some alts up 1%. Up 1%. Bitcoin, almost up 1%. Tishu said, I'd like to see someone new in the chat, even if it's just hi and nothing more. Lunar Energy said 1,330. JJ, dang. Yeah, I know, none of them attend the streams. I don't know where they are, man. Gold, 5,075 still. Yeah, man, the market's weird. Market's weird today. Dominance, 58.74. All right. Bitcoin falls below 66K as 140 million worth of levered positions are liquidated in minutes after U.S. stock market futures open. Crazy. Crazy people are even still using leverage. That kind of blows my mind. President Trump's openness to deploying U.S. troops in Iran, including special forces, has raised new concerns in Washington, per the Financial Times. Details include Trump has never ruled out the possibility of deploying ground forces in Iran. Trump has signaled deploying American forces into Iran under certain circumstances is actively under consideration. Trump administration officials insist that Trump would never take any options off the table. Trump says sending in troops to secure enriched uranium stockpiles in Iran is something that could be done later on. Oil prices are now at their highest since July 2022. Just do it now, man. I thought we needed congressional approval to commit an act of war or to declare war. Where the hell is Congress? I don't know. This country's a mess. Tisha said, just say hi, apes, LOL. Dang, that might have been an inappropriate choice of wording. Okay. Brent crude oil rises to $100 for the first time since November 2022. Bitcoin falls under 66K, 120 million liquidated from the crypto market in the past 60 minutes. That's a big red candle. That's crazy. Whoa. Breaking, Al Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, officially named new supreme leader of Iran. He's got a little beard, a little baby beard. The next 24 hours will liquidate trillions. What's happening now has never happened before. Okay, let's prepare. Peak FUD from Danny Krypton. Everyone thinks the U.S.-Iran crisis is about oil. Look at this before March 9th when markets open. It's not. It's about what oil becomes. And nobody is talking about the chain reaction that comes next. Let me explain. About 20 million barrels of oil per day normally move through the Strait of Hormuz, 20% of global petroleum supply. Most people see that and think gas prices, but the real dependency is much deeper. Roughly 92% of the world's sulfur comes from oil and gas refining, and sulfur is the feedstock for sulfuric acid, the most produced chemical on Earth. Without sulfuric acid, modern industry stops, because sulfuric acid is how we extract copper, cobalt, and nickel. No sulfuric acid means no transformers, no EV batteries, no electronics substrates used in data centers. One chemical, one feedstock, and a huge portion of it ultimately depends on oil refining flows that rely on Hormuz. But the Cascade doesn't stop there. Qatar ships a major share of its liquefied natural gas through the strait. That gas powers countries across Asia, including Taiwan. Taiwan currently has very limited LNG storage capacity, meaning disruptions quickly become power shortages. And one company sits at the center of that risk, TSMC. TSMC produces around 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors, and it consumes nearly 9% of Taiwan's electricity. No LNG, no power, no chips. No chips, no AI hardware, no advances, electronics, no modern military systems. Still think this is just an oil story? Let's talk about food. God, this is such a long post. Why did I commit with reading this? Roughly 1/3 of the world's nitrogen fertilizer feedstock moves through the Strait of Hormuz. Synthetic nitrogen fertilizers are the reason the planet can feed billions of people. Without them, global agriculture output collapses, so the real system looks like this: energy, sulfur, sulfuric acid, metals, batteries, and electronics. Gas, electricity, Taiwan, advanced semiconductors. Feedstock, nitrogen fertilizer, global food supply. Three civilization critical supply chains, all exposed to one narrow maritime choke point, only 21 nautical miles wide. And the world has very few scalable domestic alternatives in that if that choke point fails. This isn't just about oil prices, it's about how fragile the entire industrial system really is, and every market will feel the impact. When supply chains like that start to strain, the shock doesn't stop at factories or shipping lanes. It spreads into every major market: energy, equities, currencies, commodities, crypto. Because when the physical economy tightens, financial markets feel it next. I've been studying markets, blah, blah, blah. If you don't follow me, whatever. March 9th, U.S. market open, big fat red candle. Probably not far off from the truth. It's only 20% though. Yeah, that's a lot of, I mean, I know 20% is a big number, but that is a lot of fuss for 20%. That dude is tripping. DXY 99 at 61. Yeah, gold and silver holding. Bitcoin also holding. What if I said Congress controlled by Republicans that are scared of Trump? Lunar Entity said, we've been met, not for long, Waterfly. He's fudging up pretty bad. I think that they're going to lose midterms, and I think that Republicans are going to be in trouble. Lunar Entity said, we've been messing around in the ME since Carter. Middle East since Carter. Richard Nixon once sheepishly stated, no U.S. president will ever let Israel go down the tubes. Democrat, Republican, not an issue. That's kind of creepy. Same shtick, in my opinion. Been the same song and dance for decades. Teacher said, how different you think history would have played out if Kamala Harris had won? I don't know, man. So I think she lost because the campaigns against her were very believable. They came out and they were like, Donald Trump is this big scary monster, and everyone was like, he's not that scary. He's just a derpy little old dude. And the campaigns against her were like, Kamala Harris is an alcoholic, and she kind of looks like she might like a little bit of a drink. So that one, everyone saw that and they were like, oh, I think she might be an alcoholic. You know, I wonder if she's an alcoholic. Do you think Kamala Harris is an alcoholic? Meanwhile, the other ones are like, Donald Trump is a giant, scary monster, man. And everyone's like, I don't see it. Do you know what I mean? It's marketing. It's all marketing. That's all that it took was successful marketing. It's crazy. Do I think it would be different? Probably. I do probably. I think it would be way different. Would it be different in a good or bad way? I actually have no idea. Genuinely, I do not know. Okay, this one cracked me up. Shia LaBeouf arrested. Britney Spears arrested at war in the Middle East. A new Scream movie. The 90s are so back, baby. Let's go. Lunar Entity said, I don't trust the political theater either. It's all one big sham. Oh yeah, then the White House 9 hours ago posted, in case you missed it, Patriots are in control. And then they actually posted, who's that? Is that Lunar Entity? In this White House meme? What? I recognize that mustache. That was pretty good stuff. But Burt Reynolds, chilling. Very cool. Just in, U.S. dismayed by Israel's strikes on Iranian fuel depots, sparking first disagreement between allies, according to Axios. Dang. This dude has a little square little head. Crypto Bullet posted, bruh, it's literally the same picture at this point. The market maker is just making fun of us. Bitcoin 1 week. We got old Dumperoonie. He's saying we're right here from 2022. Yeah. The next, what is this, weekly? Yeah. Today, that weekly candle just closed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are we looking at a big fat downside? That'd be kind of crazy. Lunar Entity said, skies are clear. See you on the ground. Tisha said, no, Brittany. Then I wanted to post some cool vibes. We got this sick picture of what I plan on making my, maybe not, I don't really care for the ceiling LEDs. I could care less about that. But like the popcorn, I like me some good popcorn. We take movie time very seriously in my family, to the point where like every week I stop at the store and I load up. I load up on snacks. What if I said dump it? Don't say those words. That we were dumping. And I built a snack tray. I've actually posted on my channel a couple of times the snack trays, the family movie night snack trays. It's a big deal. Big deal in the family. Let me see if I can find one. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go check out Burbcore. It's pretty funny. And I cannot have the fan on without getting my throat scratchy. Where is it? Where is it? I'm probably not going to let the music play because I will definitely get in trouble. Right here. Here's one. Okay, it's muted. Snack tray. Here's one snack tray. I'm a Pepsi guy. I prefer Pepsi to Coke. It is what it is. Arcane Season 2, if you guys haven't seen it. If you guys have not seen Arcane, highly recommend. Brilliant, brilliant series. I thought I did one for Stranger Things. I'm not seeing it, though. I must not have. Or maybe I didn't post it. We gotta make 7-layer dip tomorrow, man. I'm itching for some 7-layer dip. Lunar Entity said, we actually look a lot stronger here than in 2022. Back in 2022, we were so extended from literally everything that it was certain doom. Tishu said, will RTX defense stock keep pumping? Oh, probably. Defense stocks are going to do good until something happens with all this junk. 212.50? Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that this will do good as long as conflict continues. Look at this thing. It's a beautiful, like, 45-degree angle, depending on where I have the chart laid out. Wow. Bottomed out in 2023. Look at that. You got 3 years of pumpage. If you would have bought that Pico low, let's just say you bought the general area of that. 172%. Stocks literally outperformed the entire altcoin market. The entire altcoin market was outperformed by the stock market. That's embarrassing, bro. Satoshi would be ashamed. Not only because he has nothing to do with altcoins, but because the entire market just got shat on by the very thing he sought to protect us from. Look at DXY. 99.65. Back at it again. Gold and silver still doing their thing, being boring, nothing burgers. I'm not a fan of boring nothing burgers for months at a time. Anyways, I want to make my living room look like this. That's my lifelong goal, is to have a sick living room with a TV the size of a freaking wall. That's not a projector. I was like, huh? Alright. Jason Pizzino posted, the S&P 500 opens down 2% while oil skyrockets over $100 per barrel and gold is flat. The gold narrative isn't reacting as the gold bugs would have hoped during a war. I still think gold needs to consolidate more, whereas silver is struggling as expected. He posted February 23rd. If you want to know why the market is going up or down, then give it a few months and the real answer will be revealed. If you want to make money, just watch the charts because the smart money always shows you where they are putting their money before. None of this is conclusive information, by the way. This is just the most arbitrary post in the world. He just said silver struggling as expected. That's the only conclusive thing that he said. Russia's not at war with NATO. US or Ukraine is not NATO. Open-minded approach posted. More FUD. How are we not officially in World War III if Russia is fighting in Ukraine against NATO while the US and Israel are fighting Iran, which receives help from Russia and China? So I agree with the post, but I also agree with the community note. I'm 50-50 on this. It does seem very much like World War III. That's a big-ass chunk of the planet right there. So, I don't know. Something to chew on. Cointelegraph posted, the United States Department of Treasury admits crypto mixers have legitimate privacy uses on public blockchains. which is something that they would normally deem like money laundering and sue them into oblivion. This is sick. This is definitely AI, but allegedly supercharged 5.7 Hemi powered 64 Dodge W200 Power Wagon. AI or not, I want this truck. This looks badass, so I wanted to share it with you guys because it looks cool. The motor I could give a shit less about. This is an AI motor. This does not exist. But this sick Power Wagon could be real. I don't know. That's a good question. Bull Theory posted absolute bloodbath in markets. U.S. futures just opened for the week, and it's not looking good. Nasdaq down 1.56, S&P 500 down 1.65, Dow down 2%, Russell 2000 down 3.8%. Small caps are getting hit hardest again. What do you know? Number go down. Market Guru posted 2 hours ago. President Trump says oil prices will drop rapidly when the destruction of Iran nuclear threat is over. I don't know how long that's going to take. I thought they destroyed it a couple months ago. I guess not. Kobe SE letter posted, as U.S. oil prices rise above 110 a barrel, our models indicate that if current levels are sustained for 3 months, U.S. CPI inflation would rise to about 3.5%. This would put U.S. inflation at its highest level since March 2024. Crazy. President Trump says oil prices will drop rapidly when the Iran nuclear threat is over. A very small price to pay. Trump adds, here we go. Short-term oil prices will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over. Is a very small price to pay for USA, the world, safety, and peace. Only fools would think differently. Bro has lost the plot. BRICS News posted, Pentagon says U.S. soldiers have been unleashed to destroy the enemy and will not stop until the mission is completed. That's a little spooky. Breaking, with U.S. oil prices now up over $55 a barrel in 3 months, rising 100%. Our now models indicate U.S. GDP, I'm assuming they meant to say our new models indicate U.S. GDP growth will decline by 0.5% if current levels are sustained. That's equivalent to roughly $160 billion less economic output. Why don't we just print that? DXY continuing to pump, 99,669. Nice. Okay. 88 Metals said, I was like, huh? Lunar Energy said, XAR is your ticker to monitor the defense market. I thought you were going to say to monitor this situation. That would have been funny. XAR. State Street. I'm just going to hit enter. State Street. Aerospace Defense ETF. Oh, okay. 279.28. Oh, this looks like an M. Ooh, or should I say, looks very similar to this on a larger scale. I'm just saying. I don't know. And very similar to this on a larger scale. That'd be kind of funny if we did like Elmo. Elmo does daily market update or something. I feel like people would probably actually watch that. Tishu said, okay, hang on. Tishu posted a YouTube clip, which I'm opening. It is this drone without exploding crosses their path and they fall from the sky. That's pretty sick. Raytheon Coyote. Traditional warfare. Okay. That's sick. Non-kinetic weapon. Warhead carries a high-powered microwave. Think of it as a flying EMP. Oh, that's so badass. What? That is so sick. That is so freaking cool, dude. That is so freaking cool. Wow. I didn't know he had anything like that. That's badass. No audio, no audio. Too bad. You're not getting audio. I'm not going to turn on the audio because then I'm going to have to copyright. I'm going to have to deal with shit later. Lunar Entity said, somebody call W. We found WMDs in the ME again. Tishu said, reading faster, stream about to end. I feel like I was reading really fast earlier. I definitely slowed down. Lunar Entity said, let me get my 10-gallon hat. All right, let's read our Grok input. I asked Grok, if oil spikes out of control and causes inflation to spike as well, what will the Fed do? With jobs numbers worsening, can they even raise rates, or will that lead to a recession? It seems awfully bleak out there. What are your thoughts? Grok said, the Federal Reserve is facing exactly this stagflation-like dilemma right now as of March 2026, and it's a tough spot, but not an impossible one. Oil prices have surged sharply in recent weeks due to escalating geopolitical tensions involving Iran and disruptions in key shipping routes. Let me zoom in. Like the Strait of Hormuz, WTI crude has jumped from the low 70s to over 90 to 108 in some sessions, with massive daily gains. This is feeding directly into higher gasoline prices and will likely push headline inflation higher in the coming months. At the same time, the labor market is clearly softening. February non-farm payrolls unexpectedly fell by 92,000, with downward revisions to prior months, and the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.4%. Private sector jobs growth in 2025 was the weakest in years outside the COVID shock. Inflation has been cooling nicely. January CPI came in at just 2.4% year over year, lowest since mid-2025, with core at around 2.5%, but the oil shock changes the near-term picture. What will the Fed actually do? Most likely hold the federal funds rate steady at 3.5 to 3.75, where it's been since late 2025 after a series of cuts last year. Markets are pricing in near certain hold at the March 17-18 FOMC meeting, with any rate cuts now pushed further out, possibly mid or late 2026 at the earliest. They probably won't raise rates aggressively or at all in the near term. Raising would fight the demand side of inflation, but this is primarily a supply shock from oil. Higher rates wouldn't quickly fix disrupted supply chains or geopolitics. They would just slow the economy further when jobs are already weakening. The path risks tipping into deeper recession. Fed officials, including recent comments from regional presidents, has signaled they're watching both sides of the dual mandate closely and aren't eager to overreact. They also won't cut rates right now despite the weak jobs print. Cutting while oil-driven inflation is reaccelerating could unanchor expectations, trigger second-round effects, wages chasing prices, and make the inflation problem worse and more persistent. A sustained $10 to $20 a barrel oil increase is estimated to add only modestly to core inflation, 0.1 pp. That's not a lot of pp. But more noticeably to headline CPI. The Fed's priority is keeping long-term expectations anchored around 2%. This classic 1970s style tension, supply shock plus slowing growth, but milder inflation starts from a much lower base. The labor market isn't overheated, and the Fed has learned from Volcker era lessons. They'll likely pause and monitor higher for longer until the oil spike either fades or proves transitory. Communication from Chair Powell or whoever is at the helm post-March will emphasize data dependence and balance. The data is bad, though. The data's been bad. It's always bad. How are we dependent on bad data? That's just a bad Fed. Could this lead to a recession? Yes, it's a real risk, but not guaranteed. A prolonged oil shock erodes consumer spending, higher gas, food costs, and hit real incomes. Businesses face higher input costs, and tighter financial conditions from no easing could compound to the job slowdown. Goldman Sachs and others estimate even a sustained $10 oil rise trims 0.1 pp, again, not a lot of pp, off 2026 GDP growth. If unemployment keeps climbing and inflation sticks above target, the Fed might eventually have to choose ease into recession risk or hold firm and accept slower growth. History shows supply shock recessions 1973, 1979 are painful but often resolve once the shock eases. My thoughts? It feels bleak, but it's navigable. That's a word? Not doom. This is challenging advice for the Fed. Weak jobs plus oil-fueled inflation risks, and everyday people will feel it at the pump and in hiring. The sudden jobs drop and oil spike have understandably rattled markets and sentiment. However, it's not 1970s redux. The economy entered this with solid foundations, inflation progress already made, and no broad wage price spiral yet. Geopolitical shocks often prove temporary once tensions stabilize. Oil could pull back if supply disruptions ease. The Fed has more credibility and tools now for forward guidance, balance sheet flexibility, and has successfully engineered soft landings before. When? Short term, expect volatility, higher energy costs, and delayed rate relief. Watch the March 11th CPI print and the March 18th FOMC for clues. Longer term, if oil spike moderates and jobs don't collapse further, the Fed can resume gradual easing later in 2026. The U.S. economy has shown remarkable resilience. Don't count it out. It's uncertain and uncomfortable, but awfully bleak overstates it unless the Middle East situation spirals dramatically worse. Data will decide. The Fed's job is to thread the needle without panic. I don't know, it looks a little spooky. Lunar Entity said, for reference, if you bought RTX when it got overbought on the monthly in 1996, you'd be up 500% by 2007. Waterfly said, Lunar needs to quit coffee and go with alcohol. Lunar Entity said, which if you consider all the events that happened after it got overbought, it's not a good sign. Billy said, damn, the U.S. military don't play around. Tishu said, RTX historically has gone down around 50% though. Waterfly said, just ordered a new nose hair trimmer. Exciting. Honestly, the one that I have is pretty nice. I don't remember. I want to say it's a Norelco. It might not be, though. I don't remember. It's really nice, though. It's got a bunch of different attachments. I use it to cut my hair as well. The little bit that's left, around the sides. All right. Yeah, this thing's been pretty sideways since January. DXY 99.67. Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin erasing the gains. The gains have been erased. It's a sad day for the Bitcoin. All right, let's ask really quick. I want to ask Rock one more thing. Do you think with the accelerating job losses and advancements and dramatic advancements in AI and robotics that we'll see UBI sooner than expected? If so, how much and how often do you think we'll receive? And what will its effects be on inflation? Because I understand like taxing all of these AI and robotics companies and whatever, but there's no way that's going to be enough to pay everybody $1,000. That sounds crazy. Okay, 6 votes. I asked you guys, do you think we'll see a proper bear market on the S&P within the next 6 months? Let me end it. We'll do another poll. 67% of you guys said yes, it's inevitable. 17% said no, they won't let it happen. 17% said yes, but we'll get out of it fast. 0% said no, AI and robots will save us. And let's do another poll. The next poll is going to be if we start getting universal basic income, how much will it be per month? Up to 1K. Yeah, 2K, $2,000. Let's go $3,000. And then more than 4,000 per month. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think. Poll is in the chat. If we start receiving universal basic income, how much will it be per month? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, or 4,000 or more? Tisha said, JJ, do you go inverse the poll results or agree most of the time? I guess so. I definitely agree with the S&P 500 minus 20% in the next 6 months. That seems inevitable. I guess it's up in the air depending on the situation. There's never been any situation where I'm like, wow, I disagree with the chat majority of the time. Where are we in the Wall Street cheat sheet? You guys said denial. I disagree with that one, but I don't think my agreement, like I think that my spot is pretty close to your guys' spot. The spots were very close together on that chart. Do you think Trump is going to make market moving announcement in the next 24 to 48 hours? No, he doesn't give a crap. 60% of you guys, I kind of agree with that one. What other poll did we have earlier? Coffee, I agree with that one. Yeah, there's never been any like for sure yes or no. I agree or disagree with the chat majority of the time. The polling is not big enough yet to decide whether or not I agree with the chat most of the time. I feel like it would make sense for us to agree majority of the time anyways. We're all very like-minded folks. How many people are sitting here like trying to keep their fingers on the pulse of the market? You know what I mean? Let's go see if there's any updates, because I know that there's been crazy like news dropping. I'm gonna check Watcher Guru, Kobayashi letter. We'll check Bull Theory just for shits and giggles. I think everything else. Do I do Whale Insider? I'm not a big fan. We'll do it anyways. Bricks News, we'll check that crap too. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Alright, let's go check it out. We got Kobayashi letter. A lot dropped from them since we started streaming. Wow, holy crap. Silver and gold prices fall now down nearly 3% on the day despite escalating tensions in the Middle East. Japan's stock market falls over 5% in the initial reaction to oil prices surging to fresh 4-year highs, I'm sorry. Absolutely insane. U.S. oil futures are now on track to rise 60% this month, marking their largest monthly gain in history. This follows a 34.5% gain recorded last week, the largest weekly gain on record in data going back to 1982. We are all witnessing history. What did I say? Literally talked about this earlier, how they're always like, once in a lifetime, blah, blah, blah. Every single day we witness a once in a lifetime thing. Lunar Entity said UBI is a depressing environment. Unalive rates go historic. I mean, I feel like we're heading there regardless. I don't think the world cares. Breaking. The world is now experiencing its largest oil supply shock in history, losing nearly 20 million barrels of oil supply per day. Top oil supply shocks: Hormuz closure now, minus 20 million barrels per day. Iranian Revolution, 1978, minus 5.5 million barrels per day. Yom Kippur War, 1973, minus 4.5 million barrels per day. Iraq-Kuwait War, 1990, minus 4.3 million barrels per day. Iran-Iraq War, 1980, minus 4.0 million barrels per day. Russia-Ukraine War, 2022, minus 2.0 million barrels per day. Excuse me. So, if we allow everyone to enjoy Russian oil again, we can reduce this situation by 10%. Instead of 20 million barrels, it'll be 18 million barrels lost per day. And that will be 1% less, like instead of 20% oil supply lost, it'll be 19%. Very cool. Lunar Entity said UBI settlement via blockchain makes sense. Quite dystopian though. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of the money expiring. Is that Black Mirror of me? I don't know. I think that we should have multiple things, multiple options. I like the multiple currencies. I do. I like gold and silver. Those don't expire. I like physical cash. That doesn't expire. If you go digital, make it easily accessible for people and make it expire. And everyone will be like, oh, what do you mean it expired? If you don't use it, it goes away. That's it. It's that simple. That way you control inflation and you force spending to keep the economy going. Wow. Wow. Did I just solve the planet? Because money does not have value. I'm sorry. The guy down the street that's selling his house says otherwise. That's totally fine. Majority of people agree money does have value. But if at the end of the day, the world is ending and somebody offers you some money for your food, you're going to tell them to fuck off. I'm just saying. Next, U.S. oil prices surge above 113 a barrel for the first time since June 2022. Oil futures are now up 68% this month, on track for the biggest monthly gain in history. Just watch oil right now. 9:48 p.m. Eastern Time. Minutes ago, U.S. oil prices rose to 113 a barrel for the first time since June 2022. By 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time, just 2 minutes later, oil prices added another $2 a barrel, rising to 115. U.S. oil prices are officially up 70% this month. That's pretty spicy. Tishu said, ask AI if that is a good idea. If what is? Oh. Yeah, no, we have it open already. We asked it about universal basic income. We didn't ask it if it's a good idea or not, though. We'll ask that afterwards. Lunar Entity said, you just introduced a dystopian solution to China's consumer spending problem, which unironically is probably going to happen one-to-one via blockchain. I like it. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready to adapt, man. Give me the new stupid dystopian future. We're already heading there. Just rip the band-aid off, make it goofy. I'll become like the Underground Railroad for like fun physical shit like Nintendo 64s and Game Boy games and shit like that. I think that'd be so cool. All right. Last but not least, from Kobayashi letter. U.S. stock market futures extend losses with the S&P 500 now down 1.3 trillion on the day as U.S. oil prices rise above 115 a barrel. S&P minus 2.3, Nasdaq minus 2.7, Dow minus 2.4, WTI crude oil plus 26.5, Brent plus 23, natural gas plus 9. That's crazy. We should see U.S. gas prices nearing $5 a gallon soon. What the hell? That's spooky. All right. Watcher Guru has nothing new for us. Oh, yes, they do. They said silver crashes under $80, falling over 5% today. I love safe haven assets. Yay. Thank God we hedged against inflation and wars and stuff. Klaus Schwab's famous statement rings true. You own nothing and be happy. Oh, dude. I've already like told my whole family, I'm like, if you see DVDs, buy them. Buy the DVDs now. And the biggest wake-up call for me on that front specifically was people having, like, they bought, like, the digital, you know, you can, like, buy and rent on Amazon Video, like, pretty much any movie. If you buy it, and for whatever reason the licensing rights from Amazon gets taken away or whatever, you no longer own that movie. They just magically, they're like, oh, you remember that movie you bought? It's gone. What do you want me to do about it? I'm not allowed to show it to you anymore. You just don't own the movie anymore. That's fine. The movie expires too, apparently. That's crazy. You just rent it for a prolonged period of time until they're like, oh shit, we forgot to renew the license for Winnie the Pooh. That's actually public domain now, so it don't matter. Maybe not the movies. 4 hours ago, breaking Iran's Assembly of Experts has declared Mojtaba Khomeini, son of the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, as the new supreme leader of Iran. Protests in Tehran with chance of his death. President Trump previously called it not acceptable. Israel vows to target him. Sources include Reuters and Iran International. You know what I saw? And I don't know if this is true, but if it was, this would be freaking spooky. But in like the most badass way possible. I saw a whole thing. This guy was talking about how this has been planned for years. And it started with like US and Israeli spies basically like going and like being dentists in Iran and basically implanting like dental trackers in these fuckers' teeth. And it blew my mind because how did we know where they were? It's probably not that complex, but if it was, I would not be surprised, dude. If we implanted shit in these people's freaking teeth, that would be so terrifying. I don't know. It kind of blew my mind. Tishu said, all you own is license and licenses can expire. That is true. Okay, hang on. Lunar Entity said Klaus Schwab. Yep, his book, Fourth Industrial Revolution, is truly prophetic. No thanks. Should I listen to it? Shit. I don't want to give that fucker any money. I'll see if I can pirate it. Okay. Oil price jumped 21%. 110. Very cool. Not good for global markets. Uh-oh. Futures down. Donald Trump said short term, blah, blah, blah. Gold and silver. Gold and silver have wiped out $885 billion in just 120 minutes. Gold down 2%, erasing 710 billion. Silver down 3.75, erasing 175 billion. Number go down. Like I said, safe haven assets, so glad we got them. Whale Insiders posted a bunch of shit. Iran says it will make U.S. regret any aggression under new command of new Supreme Leader Mojito Khamenei. Crude oil. Wow. Oh, that's cool. He's allowed to wear different hats. Oh, no, it's the same one. My bad. Wow. Alright, next, BRICS news. His son officially named new Supreme Leader. Iranian president says Iran will not bow to pressure from the United States and Israel. Is this a different guy every time? We'll see what happens. Trump said, we'll see what happens. Saudi Arabia intercepts drones heading towards Shaybath oil field. That's crazy. Iranian missiles seen in sky over Israel. That's so terrifying. This makes me want to play Command and Conquer. Is that insensitive? Lunar Entity said Island Directory confirms MK Ultra and Project Phoenix. Everything is fair game now. Yeah. I mean, I thought that we knew MK Ultra was already declassified. Am I wrong? Okay. I asked Grok, do you think with the accelerating job losses and dramatic advancements in AI, robotics, that we'll see UBI sooner than expected? If so, how much and how often do you think we'll receive? No, I don't think we'll see a full federal universal basic income sooner than timelines most serious analysts already project, which is more like the 2030s at the earliest, tied to deeper AI-driven abundance rather than the current modest labor softening. February 2026 jobs report dropped 92,000, blah, blah, blah. Okay. AI and robotics are advancing dramatically. Tesla Optimus-style bots, AI agents, handing complex sequences. So what I think is going to be cool is when we're using the AI to help us advance robotics. Like if the AI is like, do it all this way, and then we do that, and then the AI actually like is in control, and then it's like, okay, now let's do these things. And then they do that. That's going to be badass. That's going to be so sick. Teacher said oil's still going up on the live chart, that is. Okay. Displacement 6 to 12% of jobs by 2030. Goldman Sachs, okay. Especially in white-collar routine tasks, manufacturing and admin roles, but not overnight wipeout. New jobs in AI oversight, vibe coding, computational genetics, and human-AI collaboration will emerge, just as past tech waves did. The transition will feel chaotic in pockets, late 2020s, early 2030s, but history shows economies adapt faster than doomsayers predict. Why UBI isn't arriving sooner, dozens of local state pilots. These are targeted experiments, often for low incomes, pregnant, foster youth, or elderly, not universal. Results are mixed, but generally positive on stability and some employment outcomes in smaller trials. No evidence they're creating mass dependency. Current jobs dip plus AI. If/when it does happen, how much and how often? 500 to 1,200 per month for adults, often phased or means tested initially. Common serious proposals, Andrew Yang style, Sam Altman's experiments, or state pilots cluster around monthly direct deposits, most practical and common in pilots. Children or dependents might get smaller supplements. A full 1K a month universal version is the headline number floated in many AI-era discussions, but phased rollout, starting with pilots, scaling to adults 18 to 65, then universal, is far more realistic. Frequency would almost certainly be monthly, and administrative simplicity and steady support. Effects on inflation, it depends entirely on funding and timing, not inherently inflationary in an AI-augmented economy. Key evidence from models and pilots, expenditure neutral versions, replacing parts of welfare, show mild positive or neutral macro effects. Signal boosts to output employment from precautionary savings and higher spending by lower income households. Cleveland Fed Levy Institute models. Inequality and disposable income falls. Large new spending, deficit financed, pure money creation. Risk demand pull inflation. As we saw with the pandemic stimulus checks, however, AI productivity is the counterweight. Robots and agents drive down costs of goods, service, deflationary pressures on prices, potentially offsetting any UBI-driven demand surge. Coleslaw? And others argue 2030s could be a deflationary economy where abundance makes everything cheaper anyway. Real-world pilots, Stockton Altman's 1K a month trial, LA's Big Leap, showed no measurable local inflation. Recipients spent mostly on housing, food, debt stabilizing, not overheating. In short, a well-designed UBI in an AI world could be inflation neutral or even deflationary by sharing productivity gains without distorting work incentives too badly. Poorly funded pure printing, it adds fuel to existing fires like the current oil spike. Bottom line, situation feels shaky right now. Oil volatility when bad jobs print, AI hype everywhere, but it's not the cliff edge that forces emergency UBI. We're in a transition, not a crisis that breaks the system overnight. AI robotics will displace some roles faster than before, but they'll also create wealth that societies can distribute smarter via expanded pilots, wage subsidies, or even abundance dividends. People need purpose beyond a check, work, creativity, community, so any UBI should complement retraining, and new opportunities, not replace them. The economy has navigated bigger shifts. This one will be bumpy, but the tech upside is enormous. Data and policy will evolve. Panic isn't warranted. So what I got out of this, specifically, where was it? The wage supplementation or whatever, to me, at that point, is just communism. Like, as long as you have a job, you get UBI. And everybody just works for, like, their teeny little slice. It's kind of crazy. All right, let's see. Lunar Entity said, yep, we read that. The amount of bearish divergence on the weekly oil chart is horrifying. Philly said that $5 a gallon gasoline is speculation bullshit. Thank goodness my wife has a hybrid. Yeah. Yep. All right, let's see. 6 votes. I'm going to end it. I asked you guys, if we start getting universal basic income, how much will it be per month? 50% of you guys said 1K. 33% of you guys said more than 4K. 17% said 2K. That's a total of 6 votes. Thank you guys for participating. Gold still holding at 5,070. Silver actually up $82.27. Is this the fake out? DXY also holding 99. Everything else waiting. We are playing the waiting game. What are we thinking? I don't know. I do not know. I'm probably going to call it, though. Pretty quiet night. We'll see what tomorrow brings. If there's going to be any announcements or anything like that. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Sunday and good night.